So this is where we start off. We have the chassis that you saw in the entrance, and we start adding components to this car. The Dallara Stradale is built only on order. So here, for example, I know that this car is going to have an exposed carbon finish, and we already know what is the configuration of this car, because as you will see at the end, no two cars are the same. The clients like to define the layouts of their cars as they want, and so the finishing, the colors, the spec of the car changes, and up to now we did close to 300 cars have come out of the production line, and still we have to do two cars the same.
How far back are you backed up?
Let's say that depending on the complexity of the car, especially the paint job and the color schemes that are required by the clients, you never wait more than 6 months for a car. So that's the maximum time, even because from here to the end of the line is 11 phases of assembly. It takes us around 10 days to finish a car, to assemble a car, once we have the components for the car. The longest lead time is the paint job. If it's a simple yellow car, it's one thing. If the car instead has 1,000 different liveries, we don't use wrappings, everything is always painted. So that takes some time. We work together with Autocarrozzeria Imperiale. They are the guys that do all the Lamborghinis, essentially. They do all except the Urus, which Lamborghini does by themselves, but all the Aventadors, SVJ, SCG12, all the various complex Lamborghinis, they do all those paint jobs. So they're very well accustomed to working on carbon fiber. They know very well how to do exposed carbon, and so they're really good at the job.
This is just so neat, seeing it here, even though it's not meant to be seen in this way. Like, the owner may never see it this way, but it's just already so pretty.
Larry, let me tell you one thing. This company, this factory, is where we assemble the cars, but it's also our dealership. And it's also where we do servicing in Italy for the cars. So the clients come here to configure the cars, and we tell them that they can come here and visit the car being built. So a lot of clients actually do see the car like this, because when the car starts the production, we call them, they come over, they look at the car, they come over a few times to see the car progressing, and they are part of the experience at the end. So we continue down the production line, adding various components to the car. So we start with the internal components, the pedal system, which can be moved back and forth to accommodate different heights of drivers, because we don't move the driver position for a weight distribution issue. Consider that the car weighs 855 kilograms in barchetta configuration. And with the roof, the wing, 2 people on board, we are around 1,000 kilograms of weight. So it's a very lightweight car.
So then, can this be right-hand drive and left-hand drive?
No, the chassis could accommodate it, but we only do left-hand side drive. And we can, given the numbers, which are very small of this car, we can sell the cars in Japan and in the UK with the left-hand side drive. Yeah, and we have a lot of Japanese clients.
So then, once this is the tub itself is carbon,
yes,
but then this
we
structure,
chose to do this in aluminium for a cost question. We wouldn't want to go crazy high with the cost of the car, the price of the car. So we wanted something lightweight. So we designed a rear frame, which is a combination, for example, of technologies. You have the fusion, you have the welding, and you have the riveted part at the end. And this acts like a fuse. So if you back in to somebody, you don't have to change everything, you only change the rear parts. It's less expensive. You progress with the setup of the car until you reach where you insert the powertrain. So the powertrain is a small engine, because we wanted something light. Given that the car is light, we don't need a huge amount of horsepower. So we derived a Ford existing 4-cylinder 2.3 turbocharged engine. We receive that from Ford, we modify it, and we make a Dallara Frankenstein version, which does 400 horsepower, 500 Newton meters of torque, a nice flat torque, and on a car, like I said, weighs in running order under 1,000 kilograms. Bosch did all the engine development, engine, ABS, ESP development, so Bosch was one of the main partners in the project, in the development of the project. Consider that this car is a dream of Gianpaolo Dallara, but is also a way to explain the competence of Dallara. And Dallara essentially is aerodynamics, vehicle dynamics, and use of composite materials. We put these three things into a product, we get the Dallara Stradale. The powertrain is not one of the main competences of Dallara, so we outsource the engineering and work together with Bosch. In fact, we have a Bosch engineering sticker on the cars.
What transmission does this use?
Same as for the engine. We start off with a standard Ford manual gearbox. We modify a few components inside in order to cope with the torque, which is quite high. And then it's the same manual gearbox, which can either be with a normal manual gear stick, or you can paddle shift, so you have a robotized version of a manual gearbox. For example, this is a manual gearbox car, like you can see. This car over here is instead an AMT car. In that case, we have actuators on the transmission, which replicate what the driver does normally with a gear stick.
Oh, that's this right here.
No, that's the valving.
Yeah, that's the
This is the valving, and the actuators are here.
and the ECU for the gearbox.
So it's all, so there's like a pump and everything too.
Yes, absolutely. There's a pump on the other side. There's all the valving here. There is a reservoir on top of here. The pump is here, and so you have a closed version of the AMT. And at the end, it's very driver preference. Slightly goes towards the AMT, but the manual gearbox cars are quite a lot.
So then the transmission or this engine package,
Yes.
like, is it out of something like what would have been like the Focus RS or?
It's I think it's the same. One of the packages they have on the Mustangs. It's the small engine package of the Mustang.
Got it.
Yeah, from but the basic one,
Right.
which is 300 and something horsepower. We modify it. We change the turbo. We change another few parts of the engine in this area here, and we prepare the engine for the production, which is a 400 horsepower engine.
But the transmission isn't mounted this way for the Mustang, right?
No,
it's not a Mustang transmission.
They are not mounted transversely in that case.
Right.
We mount it transversely even to remember how the Miura is mounted. And here, what do? We do the first fire up. So here, the first fire up of the engine is done. We check everything is okay. And then finally, we can remove the car from this trolley, and we put it here in what is the racing station. We take away the wheels, and we put these fake wheels, and which represent the contact position of the wheel. We attach lasers to the car, and we measure ride heights, camber, toe, so all the geometry of the suspension, and we adapt the geometry of the suspension. You can see that we can change the camber, like on racing cars with shims. And once we've set up, we mark everything, like on racing cars. Once this station is finished, essentially the car is drivable. If not that, you need to add the bodywork. But everything is working. There's the Barchetta dashboard, because this car was sold as a Barchetta configuration. The car can either be Barchetta, or it can have a windscreen like a Spider, or it can be a complete coupe, and we'll see them further on. The car has 3 trunks. This is the main trunk, normally which is the biggest one. There are other 2 trunks which are behind the driver's seat. These and the passenger seat. We call them the helmet areas because they are done to accommodate a full-size helmet.
Do you suggest people wear helmets when they're in this vehicle?
No, because at the end, you don't need a helmet to drive the car, but you need a helmet to go to the track. And the philosophy, the idea behind the car was, Gianpaolo Dallara wrote this down once, that he wanted a car which was fun to drive from here to the seaside. Nice to look at, but then at the seaside you ate some good fish and drank a little bit of good Italian wine, and fast enough that coming back and stopping at the track, you'd beat everybody at the track. And in order to do that, you need to carry a helmet when you are at the track. Where do I put the helmet? In the helmet area.
Ah.
So here, what's missing is the bodywork, which is over there, and they are preparing the bodywork, and then Monday they start putting the bodywork together and finishing the car until you have a finished product which is ready to be driven on the road. So we test this on the road, we test that everything is working, we do the finishing of the car, the detailing, and then there is a delivery of the clients, which normally happens here. So it happens at the end of the line with a nice drape on top, and we have the unveiling of the car with engineer Dallara present, and the client then from here drives off. You can see the various finishing of the cars. You have painted, which can be any color you want, from custom gold to custom orange, to, for example, these two cars over here, which are exposed carbon. And so you have this blue exposed carbon, or this green exposed carbon, which is mixed with dyed green or not dyed color. It depends on how the client wants the finishing. And there you can see some of the windscreen setups, because you can take this away and add the windscreen. It's plug and play.
And then so you can have like more of a
coupe.
You can have it so it's more, you can see through more of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or less.
Yes.
An option, yeah.
You have the two options, let's say the Sky View or the more sports car version, which is the one on the orange car, for example.
And then this is cool. This is like a CFD.
This is exactly that. This is a combination of the flow, so you have the streamlines, and at the same time you have the pressure distribution on the floor, on the underwing. And so it explains where the downforce is produced on the underwing.
Blue is good, red is bad. There is the blue part missing, which comes from the wing, that actually is not there. So you see that then it will be balanced once you consider the wing.
So, do they have climate control?
Yes, absolutely.
Air conditioning?
Absolutely.
Heater?
Yes.
And even a radio?
No.
It's funny that you have climate control, but you draw the line when it comes to entertainment.
No, you really don't need it, and at the end, the car is so analog, mechanical, and you don't. That's really something you don't need when you're driving, no?
I love it. So, what about the design? Where did the design actually come from?
The design process of this car is a bit different from the rest, because it started off together in the wind tunnel with the designer and the aerodynamicist, together working in unison, so that the shapes of the car are both aesthetic and functional. So everything was thought from a functional point of view, but also from an aesthetic point of view. So there wasn't all aesthetics and aerodynamics fixes the car or vice versa.
So it was done in-house then?
It was done in-house. We worked together with a design company of Turin called Grand Studio, and it's led by this designer called Louis Vermesch. And Louis used to work in Pininfarina, and then he opened his own design studio. And together with him and his team and our aerodynamicist, with the wind tunnel model that you saw in the entrance of the wind tunnel, we developed the shape of the car.
How long do you think it'll take for you to finish all 600?
It has to take not a long time because we want to finish them quite quickly. So a few years, well, more than that.
And this is probably a tough question to ask, but generally speaking, what's the pricing like? What's
I can tell you
base?
the average price because
Right.
it varies a lot.
Yeah.
It depends a lot on the configuration and how bespoke you want it from a coloring, the internals, the leathers. So I think the average price last year was around 240 plus VAT, X works. So
And that's in euros.
Euros, yes.
240.
yeah. I think that's the average price, and then it varies very much a lot depending on how much. If you use exposed carbon, leathers, Alcantara, if you want some strange paint jobs customized done on top, so it depends. For example, this car here is all exposed carbon fiber. Part of it is green exposed carbon, part of it is black, and then the internals is a bespoke Alcantara green. So in this case, this is quite peculiar.
Yeah. So then, and then it can go up to pretty much whatever.
Whatever. Depends on what you want inside the car.
Yeah.
Depends on what you want on the colors of the rims, the color change there, really the stitchings inside. If you want something special on the stitching, so there. This is the XP.
So what's the big difference between this and the road car? A lot.
There's three main things.
Yeah.
First, the aerodynamics is changed. There's a big wing at the back. Underneath, it's full of strakes. It's much lower. The front diffuser is lowered. At the end, you produce over 1,000 to 150 kilograms of downforce compared to the 820 of the Dallara Stradale. The engine is still a 2.3 four-cylinder engine, turbocharged engine, but all with bespoke components inside. So it's a completely different engine. It's a dry sump engine compared to a wet sump engine on the Dallara Stradale. And the suspension has a different calibration, stiffer springs, different damping, so it's much stiffer, much lower. You have 8 settings of ABS, 8 settings of ESP, traction control. You have brake balance changes. It's really is a racing product. It's homologated FIA for Open GT type racing. And it's a car that can only run on slicks, and it's a car that does over 3 Gs of lateral acceleration. Consider that the Dallara Stradale with road legal tires does 2 Gs of lateral acceleration. Not today with the rain outside, but so this is a racing product. We cannot drive it outside the company because we would ground at the first corner because it's too low and too stiff. It's a product that you take to the track with a trolley, and it's a super fast product. We ran
so
fast.
is this part of the 600?
No,
Oh, this is separate.
this is separate. 600 is the Dallara Stradale.
Got it.
And they are numbered 1 to 600. You can choose the number, and the number becomes the last 3 digits of the VIN of the car.
Oh.
Plus, it also becomes a little plate that we put on the car in this area here on the Dallara Stradale.
Is this middle part structural at all then?
It's structural for the doors, but let me show you something.
Yeah.
Say it's a sunny day and not raining like today. I do this, click, click, and this comes off. So in a minute, you have the car Targa only with a T-frame. If
Like this, let's do it.
it's really easy. And out goes the doors.
How much does the windscreen and everything change the aerodynamics?
It does change aerodynamics for sure because it's an inverted wing. So here you create more lift, but then the wing works a little bit better because it's a cleaner flow. So at the end it does do a little bit of a change, but what we did is that we developed the shape in such a way that it didn't change the distribution of downforce.
Wait.
So that the car is still just as drivable in the same way with the roof open, with the roof closed, or barchetta.
Wait a minute. So without the windscreen, you're saying it makes more downforce?
This is a wing. You can see this is the shape of a wing, but inverted. So
Right.
it'll tend to want to push you up.
And then with it being like this, it is acting like a wing where even though this is all rough.
This is less of a wing because you don't have the suction part on the top.
Oh. So
Normally the cars, what happens is that the top part of the car is negative as a behavior. It tries to pull you up. And the bottom part of the racing car pulls you down. You want to maximize the pulling down part, so the downforce, not the lifting.
Oh wow, there's even a place
Yes.
where it tells you to stop.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you sit here.
Yes.
Okay.
Left foot on the step here sign.
Okay. Look, I even matched the car.
Yes.
Fantastico, Larry.
Then right foot
Uh-huh.
underneath and down you go.
Right foot
Yes.
here.
Yes, underneath and down you go.
Okay. Oh, this is nice and comfortable.
Then a little bit of air because it gets hot quite quickly.
Oh, you have to have air conditioning because you can't open the windows.
Yes. You have to have also for taking away the mist, stuff like that. So
Is this basically like a Dallara town?
a lot of it, let's say. And it's the town where Giampaolo Dallara was born and where he lives to the present day. So
And a lot of the people that work
in Dallara,
here,
yeah,
they live here.
a lot live here.
But also the supporting businesses are here too.
A little bit, not all in Varano. A lot of the support business is in Emilia-Romagna, so in this region of Italy, not specifically Varano.
It's really nice here.
You see,
It
the
really
position is very racy.
Yeah.
You are very low, but with your feet raised, so it's typical of a Formula car. And even the cocoon effect is like the sports cars.
That intake sound is pretty cool. Oh, what a road to have right here. No wonder
this
why
is-
you guys built a road car.
And this is very twisty. There's other roads which are longer in the turns, and so you can have even more fun.
Is this your normal test route?
It's one of the test roads that we have.
I'm so surprised. Like, I'm watching what you're running over, and it's not even that stiff.
Yes, because that's the advantage of having a light car at the end. The lightness and the aerodynamics make it such that you can you manage to follow the road a lot better, to be a lot more compliant to the road, and so you're not skidding around.
Like, these are actual bumps. Pretty big bumps. First impressions, I can't believe how bumpy the road was, and it just rode over it, no problem. That's what really blew me away. So I'm gonna try it for the first time and see how it is. Sit
So
down.
same thing, but with
Other
the
way.
other foot.
Right foot
Yes.
first. Okay.
You see, the second time is easier.
Well, maybe. idea.
Slide in. Lift your feet because you're not touching. Okay, lift even more. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Whoa.
feel the brake. There's a there's a heel rest that you can use to modulate the braking a little bit easier.
Oh, interesting.
So I would suggest you use the heel rest.
Wow. Oh. The steering is crazy how precise it is.
There's
Like
there's
no
no filter
slot, yeah.
because it's not assisted in any way,
Uh-huh.
and so at the end of the day you feel really everything.
Does the clutch have a heel rest?
No,
Okay.
the clutch doesn't have a heel rest. Consider that you have a lot of torque also at low RPMs, so you don't need to change gears a lot.
Got it. I can't believe it's absorbing these bumps like that.
There is no noise absorption anywhere, so you
Yeah.
hear everything, all
Yeah,
the
I
little
noticed.
stones and everything. So from that point of view, I think it's a lot of fun.
This is so cool. And the ratio of the steering is really nice too, huh?
At the end, it's a road car. It's called
Yeah.
Stradale, which means road,
Right.
but it's thought as a road car that needs to go to the track. So it's a nice compromise between the two.
You're right about the torque. I can't believe in third gear it just
Yes, the
Low
torque
end.
is always there. So it's a fun car that you can also drive relaxed, just using your right foot and play with the accelerator. If you start losing the car because it's slippery, just lift a little bit, it'll sit down immediately. It's nice and planted.
I can't when you look at this on paper you would think it's so stiff, you know?
Yes.
And it is stiff and compliant, but I don't feel it in my body, even though there's no cushion.
Yeah.
Even-
Because it's the added weight, it's the added advantage of the lightweightness.
You know, I woke up this morning and I had no idea I was going to drive something like this. This crazy.
But were you expecting Dallara to be what you saw today?
No, not at all.
Okay, good
Not
to go.
at all. Was not expecting it. So does this one have traction control?
Yeah, it has an ESP. So it has an ESP. It was designed without, and we added it at the end. So it has an ESP which cuts in, but essentially it cuts the power.
Got it. And then it has ABS. too.
ABS, yes. ABS, the ESP you can deactivate it if you go to the track, because otherwise every time you go over curbs,
Right.
it'll activate. And whereas the ABS you cannot deactivate.
What a fun car to drive. It's too bad I can't see anything. Look at this. Complete whiteout condition.
Yes, not the best.
Yeah, not the best. It's okay. It's still really, really fun. Still really good.
The EXP, we ran at Mugello, and we did lap time which was below the pole of the GT3s.
No way.
Yes, so
That fast.
that fast. That is obviously a racing car. It only runs with slicks.
Right.
3 Gs of lateral acceleration,
Oh,
1,200 kilograms of downforce. It's a
that
lot.
is incredible.
500 horsepower, 720 newton meters of torque on 890 kilograms of car. So.
Amazing.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to support us directly, go to larrychenprints.com. I print and sign every single one of these. This is the perfect gift, or it's the perfect piece of art for your wall.